Parkdale Lane Elementary.
Pay It Forward initiative. The Parkdale Lane Pay It Forward initiative got started based off of a need. We did a survey to our major stakeholders at our school site, and they indicated that they would like to see a civics program on campus. So we responded, and Pay It Forward initiative began.
The students responded very enthusiastically. One example, for instance, was they dug into their pockets and collected their change, combined it, and realized that the little bits that they could collect could create a significant impact globally and in the community.
We measure the success of our program basically by the students and their participation. Not only did the students participate in the sense of bringing in their pocket change, and we raised monetary funds for some of the events that we did, but also the students began to see how this was helping others and see themselves in their community, and they began to have ideas for what we could do next to help others.
I love seeing our students become empowered and stop turning the focus inward on themselves and their self-centeredness, you know, as children generally are, and start to look outside at the community and the students around them, and not just at the school site, but the community and in the larger picture, and realize that even though they're little, they can make a pretty significant impact.
So something that I personally experienced was when we did the Waves for Water program, and I thought that was a really neat event and something that was highly successful. A child who lives in Australia was the one who started the program, and basically the idea of it, it's sponsored by the Hurley Company, is to get water to anyone in need. And this child came from Australia, traveled to our school, and gave an assembly to our students, sort of motivating them to go ahead and know that they can make a difference in this way. And the students just gravitated towards it, and they did not hesitate to come every day, empty their change into the buckets, and participate. And we indeed did provide water for those in need.
Pawlecki Central Elementary.
SURF, safe, responsible, respectful, and flexible. We started SURF about 7 years ago when the current principal got to our school and saw that discipline issues were high, that our emergent bilinguals were not making adequate academic gains, and that some of the other parent groups were not really meshing together. So we thought that we would actively look for programs that could that we can model and that we can implement into our school. So we started to really implement these lessons that gave them the tools to really think critically, to use them to change their own mental capacity to solve problems. So they started to respond very positively. And Ms. Tominski can let you know more about what happens in the classroom.
So in the classroom, they've kind of applied what they've learned in these SURF lessons, and it's given them new strategies to approach problems, not only academically and critical thinking skills, but also amongst their peers. So it's really neat to see them, you know, confront situations or conflict using this positive talk and goal setting as well in the classroom. We measure the success of our program in a couple different ways. One of the ways is we have students take a survey 4 times a year, and they're asked questions about different scenarios that have taken place, and the goal is for them to respond as 0 through 4 on how they're applying the strategies or the skills that they've learned in the SURF lesson. I think what I enjoy most is really seeing the students apply the skills that they've learned in the classroom, and just how they handle situations with each other and academically, how they approach problems, and that self-talk, and hearing them encourage each other when they're collaborating within groups. We created vision boards in my classroom, and they were so excited, and that was totally linked to the SURF program, so it's just been really neat to see everything kind of come together, and then the decrease in bad behavior also across campus. I've seen the SURF program impact a lot of students in their behavior, but one little boy comes to mind in particular who struggled a lot with his focus and his self-control. He used to go home and feel super defeated and say, I can't do this, I don't know what to do. And now, as an influence of the program, he goes home and says, I've had a bad day, but I know I can do better.
Jefferson Elementary exhibition. It began because we're an international baccalaureate school, and at the end of their elementary experience, we require that they show us a culminating final project that takes all of their learning within language arts, math, science, social studies, and the arts, and communicate some sort of research project. It's something they're passionate about, We study water because Carlsbad is so dependent on water, whether it's business, recreation, tourism. The exhibition program demonstrates that the choices they make can affect themselves, the community, and the world around them. We hope that they take their knowledge and are able to apply it into changing and taking action. The students are very excited about doing these projects because they have to find something they're passionate about, whether it's the history of water, tourism, an invention, whether it's shortening showers time. They actually go out to local businesses and do informational pieces, gather more research. It's taking everything that they've learned so far, having to problem solve, and go into the community to make a difference. So the students went out and were able to actually do things that changed. For instance, we had some businesses where the students made pamphlets and went out to do cost-effective changes to restaurants that they could easily implement. And even though we couldn't convince all restaurants, we did convince one, and those students came back with such a sense of confidence and that what they had actually done made a change. What I enjoy most about the program is watching the students struggle, and the fact that they must take something that they're very passionate about, figure out where they can make change or problem solve, or the difference they're going to make within their community, or it may even touch globally. They go out and they have to contact businesses or gather research, go to other educational institutions, and then come back. They also may do something as small as buddy up with first grade classes and try to figure out how to solve the problem within coral reefs. It's really interesting to see what they come up with and how it affects all of us.